Greetings, YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is the first thing you're going to see. So let me go ahead and say welcome to you. Welcome to the stream. Welcome everyone out there who's here with me live. I see 6 people in the chat, although I think that may be counting myself as one person. So if you're here with me, it's a members only chat. Feel free to say hi so I know who's here with me. I'm going to give it a few minutes here while I wait for people to show up before I start answering questions. I don't want to start answering questions immediately and then people miss it. So today's Father's Day. It's also Juneteenth. Had a good time today. Went and saw The Thing, the 40th anniversary of John Carpenter's The Thing. And they had a re-release in theaters for only 2 days, today and Wednesday, I think. So I went and saw that as a Father's Day a thing there. So that was a lot of fun. Other than answering the questions that were submitted and any questions that show up in the live chat, one of the things I wanted to do was explore the possibility of the 10 worst ships in the game. It's a much harder list to make. It's easier to make a top 10 list. When I made the top 10 list, I also gave myself the liberty to say, well, I want to make sure that there's one every specialization and stuff like that. So it wasn't just a samey list where all the ships were kind of similar to each other, which would make sense for a top list, right? If something's really good, things that are similar to it are going to be really good too. So I artificially injected some variety into the top 10 list. But for the bottom 10 worst sea star ships, I have some pretty big sweeping criteria for how to handle that. But then when you start getting down to the individual choices, so I think that's one thing we might do is just go through the C store and look at ships and just try to evaluate them and see candidates for worst 10 ships. All right, it's been about 1 minute here. We'll go ahead and pull up my questions I have in front of me. Get them ready so I can answer them. Sorry about the noise outside. Motorcycles. A lot of motorcycles this time of year. All right, let's start with, I'm just going to pick someone at random here. I'm going to start with Simon D's question. If you could do just one event per year, which one would you do? Why? I'm torn between Q's Winter Wonderland and Ryza. There's more to do Winter Wonderland, but Ryza is the place to be. Always feels like vacation, especially when it's crowded in summer. Haha. That's tough. That is really tough. I mean, he mentions Winter and Ryza, and I think, the other major one that we have every year is the Anniversary, but Anniversary one is always different, and they're never as good as Winter Wonderland or Ryza. It's tough to pick between the two because if you actually go out and do the stuff, I think Winter Wonderland probably has more to offer in terms of gameplay. Just the events you can do and the TFO that it has, the ground one and all that. There's just more to it. But I might enjoy Ryza more, being able to do the thing. Blanking on the exact name of the boards, the hoverboards or whatever they are, and being able to do the jetpacks and fly around and all. It's just a lot of fun. And in terms of the daily to do in order to get the grand prize, the daily on Ryza where you fly through the rings is just way more satisfying than doing the ice skating. The ice skating is horrible. So if you're just going to be logging in, do the event, and then logging back out, then Ryza definitely better for sure, I think. I really don't like the ice skating that much. And they let you do other ones now too. Doesn't say I'm losing. Let me see if I can fix that. All right, I'm going to turn the noise gate off because I think that was the issue. If anyone's listening, see if I sound better now. And I think some of that was in the last video I put out too. I had added a noise gate to try and cut out some of the background noise, but I think it was also cutting me off sometimes. Hopefully that's not doing it anymore. I don't see anyone posting in the chat. I know there's some people here watching, but maybe there are no channel members here. So to reiterate Simon D's question, if I had to choose between Ryza and Winter Wonderland, I would choose Ryza. I think I prefer Ryza. Okay, let's move on to Friendly Travel Agent. And his question is, to improve STO, do you think it's wiser for the devs to focus on pumping out more affordable ships, gear, and content, or for them to really take a while and modernize the game? Well, I don't think they're ever going to modernize the game. I think that we're past the point of any sort of significant, changes. I mean, we had like lighting 2.0 and stuff like that, so maybe we'll see something else of that sort of level. I doubt it, but in terms of like really modernizing the game, there's just no way. They won't even add to the systems that we already have in the game. So the idea that they would modernize it and really, do something on the level of an overhaul just seems very implausible. I think Embracer Group would really have to do an about face and inject money into it and say, we want a big investment. They'd have to hire a bunch of people. That doesn't seem to be their game plan. So I really doubt that it's even an option. I do think that they would be better off, even though when they ask people, would you rather have more content or higher quality content? People say they want higher quality content, but I don't really think that's a good idea, to be honest, because you've got a self-selecting group of people who are answering that question. And of course you want the quality to be as high as possible, but there's just so little stuff to do. I think they need to cut back on ships, which they're not going to do. And they need to focus more on content. And they need to focus a lot more on just the stability of the game, making sure the servers work, fixing long-standing bugs. This has been one of the worst years I can ever remember in terms of the game just working properly. It's just like everything all at once. So maybe no particular version is as bad as it's been historically, but we've seen rubber banding come back this year. We've had lots of server crashes and extra maintenance. The loadout bugs, there's been other bugs, and the loadout bug has hit its apex this year. And it's like they say, well, it's fixed and it seems to be fine right now, but they've been fixing it and it's been coming back for years. So it's hard to believe that it's actually gone for good. It's just stuff like that, like they need to really focus more on fixing the game and fixing the bugs and making the overall experience. They need to do a UI overhaul. There's just so many ways in which the user interface is too many clicks to do things. The tailor is really awful. I complained about that in the 12th anniversary video. I think they should put more effort into just polishing up what they have. They're not going to add substantially to it, but just maybe polish it up a little bit more. So yeah, between the two choices you gave me there, I would say, yeah, focus on pumping out more content and not focus on modernizing the game, because I don't really think they can do it. I don't really think they have the capability to. Hey, Jessica asks, can we get spicy? Well, not too spicy. I can't really handle spicy food. I used to turn down cinnamon gum when I was a kid because it's too spicy for me. So we get a little spicy because I want to get spicy. Do you honestly think STO player experience was going to start deteriorating so fast? Or is that just what happens with abandoned code maintenance? As in they knew what was going to happen. I don't think they anticipated a lot of this. I think they just I think they are organized, and that I think they have a schedule and they have stuff marked off into the future, and they've got time allotted. You're going to work on this for this amount of time, and stuff like that. I do think there's project management going on, but I think the operation is so lean right now that there is no margin for error, right? It's the minimum viable product, and when anything goes wrong, it's like catastrophic, and it takes forever to fix them because they don't have any slush fund in terms of time or anything in order to do any of that. So when the server problems came up, they don't have direct control over some of that, but the bugs and stuff, the tutorial bugs, the bugs in the various mission bugs, I don't think they were expecting those to happen, and then when they did happen, they just didn't have the room, the capacity in their project management schedule to deal with it. It has been it's been bad. I said in response to the last question, I think this has been one of the worst years for that kind of stuff, and it seems to be more frequent, more severe. It takes longer to get fixed. There's got to be some kind of spaghetti code going on, like they'll make an update to something, and then something else that seems completely irrelevant gets broken. I don't know how in the world the code works, but I don't think they have people who really understand the code well. And I don't think they have anyone who's just dedicated to fixing bugs and doing that stuff. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to get better. I think the deterioration is probably going to get worse. Maybe this was a wake-up call for them, though. The loadout bug thing, there's a lot of backlash over that. So maybe they will take that as a warning sign to shift some resources around and maybe try and get that, to avoid that happening in the future. Maybe they'll do a little bit more QA and stuff. They claim they do QA, but it's hard to believe that. Damo Briggs says, is it time to start talking about the fairly obvious bullying culture that surrounds the game, especially Reddit and Twitter spaces? It's okay to have a negative comment about the game if things aren't working well, but the minute you try, the usual suspects pile on, looking to punch down. Yeah, there's definitely two groups of people. There's more than two groups of people, but there's people who complain. I'm definitely someone who complains. And then there's the people who don't want to hear the complaints, so they complain about the complainers. And the counter complainers, rarely want to address the actual issues, so they just say vague things and, well, if you don't like it, then why don't you leave and stuff like that. And, they don't want to actually, because they can't say, oh, it's fine, right? Like, if the dry dock system eats your experimental tech upgrade that you paid money for, they can't just say, oh, it's not actually a problem. So they can't really argue back, but they don't like it when people complain, so they complain about the complaining. And it's especially not great when people punch down, as you say. Sometimes you'll see someone who's new will come around, and they'll have some kind of an issue, and it's amazing how normalized the community is to all the problems, so they'll just act like it's not a big deal. So someone who's coming in with fresh eyes, a new player, they'll have some kind of a bug or something, and people just like, oh, that's just how the game is, don't even worry about it. And it's like, just because you're used to it doesn't mean that it's a good situation. Just because something is acceptable to you doesn't mean that it couldn't be improved. So, yeah, I do think I know what you're talking about. I'm not going to get into any specifics or talk about any specific people, but yes, I do think there is some toxic positivity, bullying that goes on, especially on Twitter, and people are punching down. and it's not great, but there's not, it's a free country. You can say whatever you want. I'm here saying whatever I want, and they can say what they want, and you know, that's just all we can do. So people will sort themselves out. People want to come listen to me will come listen to me. People want to listen to someone else will go listen to someone else. People who want to read Reddit will read Reddit. People who want to stay off of Twitter are probably smart to do that because Twitter sucks anyway. I've more or less abandoned Twitter anyway, so not a great platform. But there's some insightful stuff on Reddit sometimes, and I find it's not quite as bad or as negative. So I mean, our last video was about a Reddit post that was really cool. So I think Reddit still has a lot to offer. I think Star Trek Online Twitter is just a garbage bin, though. All right, we've got a live comment coming in from Kuya Milifoni. Probably the worst pronunciation of your name I've done so far. It's sad when people dread new content releases and updates because they seem to always break something in the game. It's true. I mean, I remember logging into Reddit one day, and someone said, I can't remember how they phrased it, but it was something like, I'm afraid to log in, or something like that. Like they were asking for advice about whether it was safe to log in because they were worried their character was going to be like irreversibly corrupted because they had heard someone say that. And, regardless of how true it is or whether support would have eventually fixed it if they put in a ticket, just the fact that, that's something a person had to worry about, right? What other game do you play where you're worried that you can't even turn it on without it irrevocably breaking something about your account? Yeah, and it is. It's like every time there's an update, it breaks something, and it's been taking. I'm coming off really negative this stream, because that's just kind of where the questions have been going, but it seems to take longer and longer to fix that stuff. So yeah, maybe it's a good thing they don't put out content very often because it ends up just breaking the game anyway. Okay, well, that's there wasn't a lot of questions submitted, but if any members who are in the live chat, obviously, QA can follow up if she wants to. But I'll move on, at least for the moment, to sort of the next portion of the evening, talking about just sort of informally preparing for a video on the top 10 worst C-store ships. And I have some criteria lined up just to help guide us. And I said towards the beginning, hey Stu, it's McStud there. How you doing? Glad to have you here. Thank you for wishing me a good day. It's Father's Day. Happen to be a father, so happy Father's Day to any of my other dads out there. It was easy to put together the top 10 list. Not easy, but it was easier. It's easy to identify good ships, and then I kind of imposed some extra variety on that to make sure we had every specialization and that kind of stuff. But the worst ships, that's a little bit trickier because there's so many, and it's easy to forget about bad ships because they're bad, right? And I don't own all of the worst ships in the game for fairly obvious reasons, I think. Why would I buy bad ships? So, I'm not going to be able to do nice demo record footage and all of that. So I thought we could just go through the C-store here. And the first criteria I would say that would rule out any ship from being in the top 10 worst ships is if it has a lieutenant commander above. There's just no way it could be bottom 10. Like, that's just impossible. If it has a lieutenant commander temporal or above, I feel like you can run recursive shearing, and therefore there's no way it could be a top 10 worst ship. Even Miracle Worker, I think. If you had a lieutenant commander Miracle Worker, I think that might actually be enough to keep you out of the bottom 10. Because we're talking about the bottom 10 out of like hundreds of ships. I think if it's a science vessel of any kind, so if you have a secondary deflector at all, I think that's probably enough to keep you out of the bottom 10. So we can kind of just categorically rule out most of that stuff. I'm tempted to say that any commander tactical is also enough to rule you out, and that may be. I'm not 100% sure that's true though. There's some pretty bad escorts out there, some 4-3 escorts, and it's possible some of those could still make the list. Um, and I think when you put those constraints on, we're looking at you know, vanilla engineering command seats, so mostly cruisers, any kind of science-based carrier that's going to not have a secondary deflector, like those have to be juicy targets, right? Um, you know, I just typed in cruiser here to try and get like an initial feel, and I don't want to go through. I know people were upset I didn't go through like the Klingon and Romulan variants for the top 10. I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's any really bad, specifically, you know, Romulan or KDF ships that would be like, that would make the list, you know? Starter Miranda is the top one worst. Well, yeah. But, you know, that's a tier 1 ship, though, so can't really include it. If we're including tier 1 ships. But yeah, the starter Miranda is definitely a piece of junk, but it's you know, hey, it's good enough to get you through those first 10 levels. The Mir, you know, here's another thing, because like, you know, you talk about similar ships, right? The Mir Guardian Cruiser and the Guardian Cruiser both suck. You know, because the Mir one does have command seating, but it's only lieutenant. The regular Guardian Cruiser has intel seating, but it's like, do you put both on the list? Because I feel like that's not fair, right? Like, that's a little cheaty. Even though they're both probably bad enough, it just feels like it's not quite in the spirit of what the list should be to have both on there. But I think if you have lieutenant commander or better, then I think command wins easy. But if you only have a lieutenant seat, intel might actually be slightly, like a lieutenant intel, if that's the only seat you have, might be a little bit better than a lieutenant command, because there really isn't much you can do. The good command powers are at lieutenant commander or above, but you can get override subsystem safeties at lieutenant. So, you know, not the highest version, but maybe a straight lieutenant intel seat is worth a little more than a lieutenant command seat. It's a good question to explore. So I think one of the cruisers, the Guardian cruisers, have to go on there. Question is it the mirror version or is it the regular version? What else? If we're looking at just cruisers here to try and figure it out, well, take a look at the Resolute here. Well, it's got a Lieutenant Commander command, so that rules it out. The Andromeda has a Lieutenant Commander command, so that's ruled out. The Arbiter has a Lieutenant Commander intel, and it's a 5-3, so I think it's probably safe. If it had made the top 10 list at all, it would have been for the trait. I actually think the Arbiter kind of sucks, because the Lieutenant Commander intel seat is also on the tactical seat, and you have a Lieutenant Commander Universal you can make tactical as well, but then you're really short on engineering seating or science seating. We have ways of getting around that now. People do want a bit more science seating than they used to, but if you're using both of those for tactical, it's awkward. It's not really good seating. Lieutenant Commander Intel isn't the best thing in the world. I think it's safely out of the top 10 worst ships. I'm not saying it's a top 10 worst ship, but just the ship itself, I think, is kind of junk. The Buren is definitely not. Neither is the Clark. Those are both on the top 10 list of good ships. So there's no way there. We got like a Warbird here, a Commander Engineering, Lieutenant Commander Science, Lieutenant Universal, Ensign Tactical. Okay, it has Lieutenant Commander Command, so that's good. What does this one have? I can't remember every seating on every ship. We have a Lieutenant Commander Tactical. We have a Lieutenant Science Intel. That sucks. This isn't very good either, but then it's like, well, is this really just... Is this the Romulan version of the Guardian cruiser? Lieutenant Engineering, Commander Engineering, Lieutenant Science Intel. It kind of feels that way. I mean, this ship also sucks, but I don't want to, like, clog up the list with, like, copycat ships. Does Lieutenant Commander Command really save the rest of the Andromeda's faults? Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Yeah. Because if you can put Concentrate Firepower 3 on a ship, that's just going to be... Because the thing is, it doesn't even have to be in the top 25% of ships or the top 50%. It just has to be, like, we're talking about the 10 worst ships, right? It just has to be, even if it's number 11, right? And I think if you can run Concentrate Firepower 3 and put torpedoes on your ship, like, that's got to be enough to keep it out of the bottom 10. It's a low bar, but I mean, we're talking about the 10 worst. And so I think Concentrate Firepower 3 is enough to keep any ship out of the bottom 10. This has a full Intel seat. I think that's definitely not bottom 10. I actually quite enjoyed this ship. I got it relatively recently. I did a video about it. The Europa, I actually did a video about this ship too. What was it called? Europa Good, Reddit Bad, or something like that? It was because this is the ship that Reddit decided was the worst ship in the game. And I was like, man, there's no way, for basically the same reason we've been talking about, because it has that Lieutenant Commander command seat. And I was like, look, or does it? What does it have? Does it have... Yeah, it has a Lieutenant Commander command seat, and it's like, there's no way, right? There's no way this is the worst ship in the game, because it has that command seat on it. So I made a whole video saying that this was not the worst ship in the game, and that Reddit was wrong for saying that. So this gets clear marks here. The Gagarin's a great ship, so and right, we're talking about, like, I can't... I'm with the bottom 10 ships, I'm focusing more on the ship itself and less on the trait and console. And the Gagarin's just a great ship on its own, so that's definitely not going to be one of the worst ships. What do we got here? The Gorkin. We have Lieutenant Tactical, Commander Engineering, Lieutenant Commander Science, Ensign Universal, Lieutenant Commander Universal Command, Lieutenant Commander Universal Command. That's... Okay, the Guardian, that's one of our candidates there for one of the worst ships. I mean, I think we all know what the actual worst ship is, right? I'm going to give you a hint. It's a carrier. It's not the worst carrier or the worst ship in the game, but I think it's the worst sea store ship. The Intel Assault Cruiser, Archon. I think that's got a Lieutenant Commander Intel seat. It also has a Lieutenant Commander Tactical. I can't really see this being a bottom 10 ship. Override Subsystem Safeties 3. You got your Lieutenant Commander Tactical. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that ship. This has a command seat, I know that. The Kalis War Battle Cruiser. What we got here? Lieutenant Commander Universal Command. That's safe. The Karak, that's the Arbiter variant there, so we said the Arbiter was safe, so that's going to be safe too. KK, then I'll put EC on the Pathfinder being in there when you do get to it. If you mean the Pathfinder science vessel, I'm saying that every science vessel, no matter how bad it is safe from the top 10 worst, because I think it's just having a secondary deflector at all is automatically enough to keep you out of the bottom 10, I think. Right now we're mostly looking at cruisers, but we're going to look at some other types of ships later. But science vessels I'm just categorically ruling out as being candidates. The Verity, amazing ship. That's definitely the Ross. Yeah, those shouldn't even be in consideration because they're legendary, but even if they were, those are two excellent ships, so they wouldn't be anyway. So let's scroll past all the legendary ones. They're not eligible because you can't buy them individually. The Martok tactical battle cruiser. It's got a command seat. The Miracle Worker cruiser. This is a full Miracle Worker ship, right? It's one of the Klingon versions of the original Miracle Worker ships, I think. If it's a full Miracle Worker ship, then yeah, that's probably not going to be a bottom 10 ship. Let's skip all these full Miracle Worker ships are probably safe. The Negtev heavy battle cruiser. Lieutenant Commander Command. A lot of Lieutenant Commander Command ships. It's funny because people always used to complain about that, including myself. They'd say, why are they giving us so many command ships? We don't want command. Because command used to be seen as the worst specialization, and now it's the best. Command battle cruiser, that's fine. Operation Star Cruiser. I think all these Star Cruisers have command seats at Lieutenant Commander or better. Advanced Light Battle Cruiser. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. The Quehupa. the Quehupta. What we got here? We have a... Ooh, okay. All right, showing the wrong picture here. All right, we got a Lieutenant Commander Tactical. That's pretty good. An Ensign Engineering. A Commander Engineering. That's already off to a good start. A Lieutenant Science. A Lieutenant Commander Pilot seat. And it has a 4-4 weapon layout. I think we found ourselves a bona fide candidate. Let me get a notepad out. And we want the Guardian Cruiser. And what is this? The Quehupa. The Quehupa Advanced Light Battle Cruiser. Light Battle Cruiser. Okay. Now, I don't remember this having some crazy starship trait or whatever. It's possible a bad ship could be saved by that, but I'm mostly focusing on how bad the ship itself is. The Quib Intel Battle Cruiser. We got a Lieutenant Commander Engineering, a Commander. It has a full Intel. That should be fine. That's not a candidate. Command Dreadnought has command in it. That's fine. Has Miracle Worker in it. When they have command or Miracle Worker or whatever in the title, they're usually full spec ships. Maybe a full spec pilot ship could be a candidate possibly, but I think any other specialization, if it's a full specialization, that's probably safe. The Reliant. Here's a ship people love to beat up on. Got that juicy vanilla Commander Engineering seat. That definitely puts it in the danger zone. Lieutenant Commander Universal Pilot. Ooh, is this just the this is just the Fed version of the last ship we looked at? So I'm going to just I don't want to do duplicates, so we're just going to leave that alone. Science Command Battle Cruiser. It's a command ship. Command. All these Star Cruisers have command seating, tactical command, tactical Star Cruiser. Okay, and we got some temporal stuff here. Temporal Battle Cruiser. Where are the stats? This is not formatted well. Lieutenant Tactical, Temporal Ops. Oh, excuse me. Commander Engineering Temp. Okay, it has a full temp seat. That's fine. It says temporal in the name. I should have known better. So full temp ships, those are safe. The Kronos was in my last top 10 ship list. It's still a very good ship. That's safe. The Varal support cruiser. I think this is the Andromeda variant, so it's probably fine. Where's the seating, my friends? Oh no, is this temporal? It has configurations. It has a commander. It's a full temp ship. It doesn't say temp, but it's a full temp ship. That's safe. War Command Battle Cruiser. What are the stats on this? We have a Commander Engineering Command, that's safe. The Yamato Dreadnought Cruiser has Lieutenant Commander Command, it's safe. The Terran Cygnus Battle Cruiser has temp op seating, so that's fine. The Lexington's a great ship. The legendary Miranda is a legendary ship, so it doesn't qualify. The Narendra class was in the top 10 best ships, which I think it has a, even if we're not considering the trait and all that, I'm pretty sure it has a Lieutenant Commander temp op seat, so. Oh no, it's full. Is it full? It's a full temp, so it's fine. All right, so we've only found 2 candidates in the cruiser. That's okay. Carrier. Let's look at carriers. The Aspero and all of those variants, they have command seating, so they're fine. The Gimmer is an excellent ship. The Jem'Hadar Vanguard carrier. Lieutenant Commander Tactical Ensign Engineering, Lieutenant Commander Science Intel. 1 Commander Science, 1 Lieutenant Universal. It has a Commander Science but no secondary deflector. It only has a Lieutenant Commander Intel. That's not feeling too juicy, to be honest. Oh yeah, the Varal is the KDF Narendra, yeah. Think this is a candidate. We're not saying it's definitely going on the list. It does have the 2 hangar bays, but hangar bays aren't the be-all, end-all. It's a cool ship. Like, let's be clear. I like this ship a lot. It's one of the coolest ships from the big Gamma Vanguard bundle. I know a lot of people love to fly it. It does have a 4-2 instead of a 3-3. It's a neat ship. I really like this ship, but its stats on it aren't very good. So, Jem'Hadar Vanguard carrier. We'll add that to our candidates list. Support carriers are fine. Tactical carrier Warbird. Have I ever even looked at this? Commander Tactical. Oh, it has a Commander Tactical. And a 4-3. It's pilot seating. What the hell is this ship? 1 hangar bay. Oh, this is the Romulan version of the Akira. Someone hide the Jupiter. Look, I'm coming for it. You know the Jupiter can't escape. The Jupiter is not coming out of here unscathed. I can promise you that. Okay, I didn't realize this is the... For some reason, because it has the word carrier showing up here, it's not a real carrier. It's the heavy escort carrier, the Romulan version. Also bad ships, though. So I think we can just put... I was actually planning on putting these on the list, or at least putting them down as candidates. 4-3... experimental weapon, only 1 hangar bay, has pilot seating. This is just a candidate list, keep in mind. But the heavy escort carriers, not going to double dip. Okay, the Jupiter couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, but the Jupiter is probably not only on the list, the Jupiter is probably number 1 on the list. This ship sucks. It has a Commander Science, but no secondary deflector. The only specialization seat is a Lieutenant Intel. This ship is just trash. Jupiter on the list. Okay, the Orion Blackguard Flight Deck Assault Carrier. No, this is good. Support carrier is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. That's a legendary ship, so it doesn't qualify. Was it? They're called Strike-Wing Escorts now. They changed it years ago, but I still call them heavy escort carriers. Yeah, we already put it on there, but like the Alita. I mean, the Alita is not that bad, right? It still does have a Commander Tactical and all that. Like, it's not a terrible ship, but I think it has to be. I think you have to consider it at least. The Earhart has a command seat. The Mir Ingle is not available individually. The Sex Strike Wing Escort is just the faction version of the Earhart, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I have it on one of my free-to-play accounts, so yeah, it's got the command seat on it. All right, so that does for that. I think there could be some pretty bad escorts. The problem with this is that it's not categorical. I'm not selecting escorts. I'm just having to type escort and hope it comes up. What are some pretty bad ones? I mean, the Tier 6 Defiant isn't great. 4-3 weapon layout. Pilot seating. Yeah, not too good. I think we're going to have to put the Tier 6 Defiant on here. As a candidate. Candidate only. Don't get angry. Doesn't mean it will be on the list. It just means it's a candidate. Legendary ships don't qualify. I mean, when you got a 4-3 and you only have pilot seating, it's just, that's rough. I remember not liking the Da Vinci, but it does have a full Miracle Worker. Appalachia has command seating. The Theseus should be a full temp seat, yeah, that's fine. It's a full temp ship. Mercury Pilot Escort. We're looking at here 5-2. That's pretty good. Commander Pilot. I don't know. It has a 5-2 and a Commander Tactical. That's a tough sell. That's not nearly as bad as the Defiant. Shran has a 4-2. Pilot seating. It does have a lot of universal seating though. It has a really killer console. And maybe I'm doing a double standard here by saying, well, a console or a trait's good enough to get on the top 10 list, but it's not enough to save a ship from being on the bottom 10 list. But again, this is why it's so difficult to do the bottom 10 list. It's just harder to come up with the criteria for what makes a ship bad. Like only having 4 forward weapons and having only pilot seating. Yeah, it's commander pilot, but the universal seating is really useful. And it has a really good console. It only has 4 tactical console slots. Tier 6 Defiant was named after Red Squad's ship. It's a shoot. It's a shoot. Yeah, I remember that episode. That was a great episode. They were like out on a training exercise or whatever, and they got lost, and like the cadets like took over the ship and they were power tripping, and they were pretending like they were in charge, and then they finally run into a real ship and had to get, and then Nog went over there, and he was actually doing the training and all of that, and he kind of got caught up in it and going along with it. But then it's just a good episode. It was a good conflict for Nog. It was a neat episode. Yeah. The Shran, it's like there's a lot of good stuff about the Shran. Like, I really don't think it's going to make the cut, especially with the console being so good, but I just feel like, the list is actually pretty thin right now. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on there just for the sake of it. Science Pilot Escort. Here again, we have another question where it's like, well, you got all these variants, right? Older ships are probably worse than newer ships. The older ships had the old, tactical engineering science variant thing going on, so it's like, well, do you put all 3 of them on the list? That also seems kind of cheaty. Science Pilot Escort. 5.2. Yeah, I don't think we put the other one on there, the Mercury, so we'll leave that off. This is a full intel ship, so I'm going to leave it off the list. It's a 4.3, which does kind of suck, but it has a commander tactical intel. The lieutenant commander engineering is not great though, but you can do override subsystem safeties on here, and if you're doing beams, it's not going to hurt you that much. It's not like it's not even like with the top 10 list. Like, let's just say, for the sake of argument, for the top 10 list, that what I really wanted to do was to say, well, let's just take the 10 best parsing ships. I can't do that in reverse. Like, even if that's what I wanted to do, how, because that's not even going to be a fair representation. There's no floor, other than being 0 DPS. It's not an indication of the ship. So, it's just hard to justify putting a full intel ship on the list. That just seems like it. I mean, this is not a great full intel ship, though, but, I mean, it's got that commander tactical. It's got a lieutenant commander intel. I think that's got to count for enough to keep it off the list. More of these pilot escorts, but they are 5.2s. They are commander tactical. Legendary ships aren't eligible. The Hestia class. What's its deal here? Commander tactical. Lieutenant commander engineering command. Oh, it's got a command seat. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. Got this has a rail gun, which is really good. Where is this is one of those ones where the seating isn't quite listed very well. Lieutenant Commander Science Intel. I don't know. It should. I mean, these are escorts, so it should have a. It should have a commander tactical with a lieutenant commander intel, and it comes with the railgun. I think it's probably safe. Earhart we already ruled out. These are just more of the pilot escorts we've ruled out already. This is a full intel ship. It's not a great ship, but it is full intel. It's a 4.3, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, it is a 5.2. I don't know why. For some reason I thought this was a 4.3. Yeah, okay, alright, that's fine. Yeah, that's even better than I thought then. Alright, the Cation escort. It's intel, I believe. Lieutenant Commander Intel. Commander Tactical. What's the weapon seating? These old ones are just not formatted great. Do I need to just look this up on the wiki? Is that going to be faster? It is... Survey says a 4.3. Okay, it's a 4.3. Oh, it's the other railgun ship. Yeah. I guess we'll leave it off the list. More pilot escorts. The Alita we already put on the list. All right, so we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 so far. We've looked at cruisers. We've looked at escorts. We've looked at carriers. Probably not going to look at science vessels. Let's look at raiders, maybe? Maybe I need to loosen up my criteria. Pretty difficult here. Ouroboros class is a full temporal ship. The Vanguard Heavy Raider, I forgot what the deal is with this. Lieutenant Commander Tactical, or Commander Tactical, Ensign Universal, Lieutenant Universal, Lieutenant Commander Universal, 1 Lieutenant Commander Universal Pilot, and it's a 4.2. Yeah, I think this has got it. This is a candidate here. Jem'Hadar Vanguard Raider. That makes 2 Jem'Hadar Vanguard ships so far. That's not great. Oof. We're not finding everything though, because like some of the other ships don't have that same naming convention. Let's see, what else are we looking at here? What if I just type in Warbird? Looked at this. I think we looked at this already. Saw it had a command seat. Pilot Warbird. It has a commander intel. 4-3 commander tactical. It's not great. Commander tacticals feels like it counts for a lot though. Science Dreadnought Warbird. Oh, scimitars are safe for sure. Surveillance Explorer Warbird has a Lieutenant Commander Universal Temp Ops, so it can use recursive shearing. We didn't find that under the cruisers earlier. The Hathos Warbird. Lieutenant Commander Intel. Lieutenant Commander Science Intel. What about the other ones? Hathos. I'm surprised people are actually still here. This seems like it would be boring. Oh, this is the other railgun ship. Never mind. I think we already looked at this. This was the Romulan Akira. I don't remember the Cardassian escort having a railgun. Is it an intel ability? Oh, did I say that? Or was it that the image got screwed up? Because sometimes it doesn't update the image properly. Or I might have misspoken. But yeah, no, I don't think any of the... Do the... No, because it's the Cation ship. It's... I'm trying to remember which ones it is. It's the escorts. The experimental railgun comes with... From... Which ships does it come on? The Hathos. Let me see here. The Cation escort, the Parisian escort, and the Hathos Warbird. Yeah, so not any of the Cardassian ones. I was pretty sure not, but I double checked since you asked. The Kara Advanced Warbird. This has a command seat. Full temporal. The Kopesh is a great ship. La Rosa Research Warbird. Has Lieutenant Commander Temp Ops. Legendaries don't go on the list. The Malum Light Warbird is just another version of a ship already on the list. Full Miracle Worker. Might start have to looking at Miracle Worker ships. Like sub commander intel or Miracle Worker ships. Command ship, Recon Warbird. Lieutenant Commander, Universal Intel. Ensign Tactical, Commander Tactical, Lieutenant Engineering, Lieutenant Commander Science, Lieutenant Commander Universal, Commander Tactical, Lieutenant Commander Intel. That's a pretty good combo. That might not be. Running out of juicy ships. I'm open to suggestions. I'm not really willing to consider science vessels. I just don't think anything with a secondary deflector could be a candidate. Maybe I'm going too easy on some of these Intel and Miracle Worker ships, though. That's possible. If you're still there, McStud, I'd be happy to take some recommendations. Let's think about this for a second. Talking about the worst ships in the game. You should be able to make an argument for any of these 10 ships that it is in fact the worst ship in the game. Problem is, I don't tend to think about bad ships. C-store ships specifically. Let's look at like any kind of destroyer or warship is probably not going to be on the list. What are some ships that have miracle worker seating, but not full miracle worker seating? You check. I can check that on the wiki. I type in stow miracle worker ships. See if I can switch you guys over here. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see that now. Me. There we go. We want it to be C-store ships that have... Unfortunately, I don't think there's any good way to narrow it down to just C-store ships. I think there's any way to do this here. We could do by forward weapons. That's not a C-store ship. That's a legendary ship. The Da Vinci we already ruled out. Parliament's not a C-store ship. Legendary, California Crossfield. Fleet Saber. Tucker, Scott, Daystrom. A lot of premium ships here. Maybe this was easier in the actual game. So far, the list includes the Guardian Cruiser, the Quehupa Advanced Light Battle Cruiser, or any of the light escorts or light cruisers that have the pilot seating. Friendly travel agent just joined at captain level. Thank you very much. Welcome aboard. And if you have any questions you want to ask live, or if any suggestions you want to make for worst C-store ship in the game, I'm happy to hear them. The core bird of prey. Let me take a look at that. Let's take a look at the core. The core bird of prey has a Lieutenant Universal, Lieutenant Commander Universal, which is pretty good. Lieutenant Commander Universal Pilot, and a Commander Universal. A lot of Universal seating. I didn't realize there was a C-store ship that had a Commander Universal seat. But it has a 4-2 weapon layout, so it's clearly a Raider. It has Withering Barrage. That's what I thought. When you said core, I was like, yeah. I mean, can you really put a ship with Withering Barrage on it on the top 10 worst list, though? I mean, the ship itself is bad, for sure. We'll put it on the consideration list. That pilot seating... Let's look at full pilot ships. Or just put in pilot. This is the research you gotta do. I think we ruled out a lot of these escorts. I think we ruled out just because They had a 5-2 and they had a commander tactical, and it just kind of felt like, well, that's pretty good, you know. Withering Barrage is free if you get a Klingon recruit, so maybe that's an argument for leaving it on the list. I did put it on the list here for a candidate. The engineering pilot Raptor, engineering pilot, the Lethian ones. Legendary Defiant is not a candidate. Equinox is actually one of the best ships I put on the list. Legendary, tactical pilot Warbird. Mostly it's just these 3-pack ships, so it's like, do we include any of them? We got the 3 Andorian ones, the day one. Well, there's 2 different groups, so there's like the allied ones, which Ensign Engineering, Lieutenant Commander Engineering, Lieutenant Universal, Lieutenant Commander Universal, 5-2, and then you've got the other kind, like this Ajax is not part of the allied ones. Also 5-2 though. It's not showing the right pick. There we go. Lieutenant Tactical, Lieutenant Commander Pilot, Lieutenant Commander Engineering, Lieutenant Science Pilot, Lieutenant Universal. Actually has 2 pilot seats. Is a 5-2 with a Commander Tactical, but it has pilot seating enough to be, you know, is that bad enough? I mean, a 5-2 is not bad. It has a Commander Tactical. How bad can it be? And that's mostly the pilot ships that are in here, like the full pilot ships. I don't think I put the Shran on the list. I did put the Shran on the list, never mind, so we got that in there. Boy, we're scraping the barrel now. Guardian Cruiser, the pilot light battle cruisers, the Jem'Hadar Vanguard carrier. Seems like my voice is starting to go. I'm sorry. The Akira line equivalent heavily escort carriers, the Jupiter, the Tier 6 Defiant, the Shran, the Jem'Hadar Vanguard Raider, the Core. We need one more. We're only need one more. So let's brainstorm here and figure out what the 10th ship is. Like, I just feel like there's something obvious out there, and it's not coming to me, you know what I mean? Maybe we should look at the science vessels, right? I categorically ruled them out, but maybe there's a science vessel bad enough that it could be, you know, on the list. I don't think so, but I mean, earlier you said Pathfinder. Lieutenant Tactical, Lieutenant Intel Engineering, Commander Science, Lieutenant Commander Science, Lieutenant Universal. Yeah, that's just, I can't put that on the list. That's Commander Science, Lieutenant Commander Science, Lieutenant Universal you could use for science, has a secondary deflector. I mean, sure, you know, the Intel seat isn't helping it, but I mean, that can't be a 10 worst ship in the game. The dagger-looking one. Let's see here. What we got here. What was the name of that one of the first Tier 6 science vessels? The dagger-looking one. This one? The Dauntless? I think this must be what you're talking about, right? Lieutenant Tactical, Lieutenant Commander Tactical. A lot of tactical seating, which is not great for a science vessel. Lieutenant Engineering. Lieutenant Intel Science, Commander Science. That is pretty bad. That is pretty bad. It's lacking significantly in science seating. Ooh, there's something there, I think. I think you might be onto something. That's not great. You want a lot of science or specialization seating on a science vessel. And this isn't really cutting it. Plus the Intel seating, if you were even going to try and use it for like, spore infused procs or whatever, is already on one of the only two Intel or science seats. Pathfinders saved by unconventional systems. Too much science seats to be bad. I don't think that's true. I mean, well, yeah, unconventional systems, you're right. It is because of unconventional systems, that's true. But it's still, though, I mean, I suppose if you don't have unconventional systems and you don't have a bunch of beefy consoles to use with it, then then the science seating wouldn't be great. But even then, I think, what are you really doing with engineering or tactical seating on a science vessel anyway? At least science abilities can have like EPG and stuff, can scale off of EPG and Control X and at least do something. I do feel like the Dauntless, if we're going to pick a science vessel, it might have to be the Dauntless. Those are some pretty bad stats. Let's do that. Let's put the Dauntless on the list. That way we at least have one science vessel on there. Isn't that the ship? I think this is a Voyager ship, right? This is the ship that was like, it was fake, right? So like, they tricked a Voyager into thinking that it was a super duper experimental ship that the Federation had created to take them home, and they were supposed to rendezvous with it, and then it was going to take them back to the Alpha Quadrant, and then it turned out it was a scam. I think that's what this is based on, right? Okay, here we go. The original Dauntless class science vessel, discovered by the crew of the Voyager, was actually alien in origin. It featured quantum slipstream drive technology, which were groundbreaking at the time, but ultimately this ship was created using particle synthesis to fool and trap the crew of Voyager. In 2410, the blueprints for the original alien starship were closely examined, and Starfleet Engineered Corps were able to recreate this impressive Tier 6 science vessel. As a particle synthesizer universal console, which allows your starship to project a particle synthesis beam at a distant target that causes your target and nearby enemies to take your starship's appearance, thus causing tremendous confusion amongst your enemies. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use it, and I have never used this console. Obviously, I do not own this ship. Actually, that's interesting. Let's look at all the ships on the list and see which ones I own. Guardian Cruiser, nope. The Advanced Light Battle Cruisers, ooh, I might. I don't think I do. I think I have the Legendary. Advanced, if I could spell. That's the Reliant, right? Is this version? Yeah, I don't have that. So, no, yes. This is disturbing. Yes. I have the Federation version of the core, so I'm going to say yes. So actually, there's only 3 ships on the list that I don't have. That's depressing. I really thought it was going to be higher than that, but apparently I have 7 of the 10 worst sea store ships. Maybe this is not the final list. I'm still open to suggestions for ships people think are worse, but yeah, that's my research for tonight to help me figure out the list for that video. If anyone in the chat has any more questions or comments, I'd be happy to read them or discuss anything you want to discuss here. Otherwise, I'm going to try and transition to a different activity here for maybe another 20 minutes or so, since we're not doing this anymore. I think I still have the the Borg liberated command Juggernaut that I got during the 12th anniversary video I did, where I gave you some keys with the 12th anniversary bundle, and I just got lucky and won the ship because they were account bound, so I couldn't sell them or anything. Maybe we should open that up. Let's open that up and get it set up. Let's find a better name for it. Quick question, how does command seating work and what are its benefits? All right, that's a great question. Thank you for doing this on stream. It was fun and participatory. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, absolutely. Let me find a name for this ship, friendly travel agent, and then I will answer your question. What should we name this? Let's try some random names. What's a good name for a Borg ship? The Futile, can I name it that? Am I allowed to name it that? I guess I named it Futile and not the Futile. Okay, so what's the deal with command seating anyway? Really, you're looking at, let me find a character here. Omen Kak, one of my Jem'Hadar Vanguard bridge officers. Switch him over to command here. So when it comes to command abilities, there's two really big ones. And well, actually that's not true. There's three really big ones. So let's start with the first big one, Concentrate Firepower 3. So this is one of the big DPS abilities in the entire game. And it marks your target so that you and any allies that attack it will periodically, for rank 3, you will get once every 2 seconds, it will give out a free torpedo high yield to you or an ally who's attacking that enemy, right? So you put this on an enemy, and then once every 2 seconds, someone attacking that enemy gets the free high yield. And those high yields can do ridiculous amounts of damage if you have the right torpedoes and the right setup on your ship and everyone's taking advantage of it. And this is what helps to produce some of the biggest numbers in the game. Okay, what about for the command seat? The two big abilities here are, the first one is for damage, and that's Call Emergency Artillery. Really, you need rank 3. That's where you're going to get the good damage from. And it has a very low cooldown, so you can kind of spam it. And it just calls in some artillery vessels that will do a bombing run at the area that you, like in front of you. And they can do a lot of damage if you have your targets grouped up, so you have to kind of time it correctly. You're going to want to group your enemies up and then use this, and it can do huge amounts of damage. And it's even true, a bit unfortunately, that if you have a full command ship, so you can use this, and you wanted to do energy weapons, you might even be able to do more damage with a command ship than a miracle worker ship, even though command doesn't buff your energy weapons, just because Call Emergency Artillery just on its own, just as like a standalone thing, is just so powerful that it can outweigh the energy specific buffs that other specializations have. Okay, the other big ability is for tanking, and it looks like I don't have version 3 on this guy because it's usually you're usually using it on a ship with a commander engineering seat, and this is a tactical officer, so I didn't bother to train him on it. Let me check my engineering guy here though. He should have it. All right, here we go. Suppression, yeah, he has it. Suppression Barrage 3. This will modify your energy weapons, and actually it just says ship's weapons, so I suppose it could affect more than energy weapons, but it doesn't work like other firing modes that will block other firing modes. So like if you do Cannon scatter volley, it will prevent you from also using rapid fire at the same time, for example. This can be used in addition to energy weapon firing mode. So you use this along with fire at will on a tank build, and it will enhance your weapons so that they will debuff the enemies that they hit, giving them minus 50% outgoing damage, which is huge for survival. So the idea goes like this: instead of focusing entirely on threat and then taking all of the incoming damage and surviving it, you can get comparable results just by debuffing the enemies so that they do less damage to begin with. So those are the big three abilities, and you really need Lieutenant Commander or above, because Lieutenant Commander is where you can really get into concentrate firepower, and then you really need the Commander level to get the most out of Suppression Barrage and call emergency artillery. So if you only have a Lieutenant or lower, command isn't really that good, because these abilities are amazing, but you need those higher level seats to use them. And this is why I said that no ship with a Lieutenant Commander above could be in the bottom 10, because these abilities are just so good that there's just no way a ship could have access to them and somehow be a bottom 10 ship. I hope that explains the question. Also, if you have a full command ship, you get the inspiration mechanic, and those, you're probably only going to get to use it once if you're doing like a DPS thing, per run, but you can give a big team-wide bonus damage boost, or you can give a team-wide survival boost, or a team-wide bridge officer cooldown with the different clickies that you get off of it. So it's just a very nice to have on top of everything else. So full command ships are really powerful for those reasons. They make the best tanks, and they make the best DPS for elite content. I do need to specify that. If Spencer is here or was here, he would probably interject at this point. So if you're playing on advanced or normal, you're probably better off using cannon scatter volley. Energy weapons are still going to be better at those difficulties. So when I say concentrate firepower and call emergency artillery and suppression barrage, those are mostly abilities that are going to be used for elite difficulty. You can use them for lower difficulties and they'll still be good, but they really shine on elite, basically. No problem at all. If you have more questions, just let me know, and I'll be happy to answer them. And speaking of command stuff, let's see if we can maybe set up our ship here. Gotta find it first. Get rid of these weapons. Hey Rob, how's it going? Nice to see you in the chat there. How you doing today? If you're just joining us, then you kind of missed most of the fun, but that's okay. Not to suggest there won't be any more fun, but we went through the C-store and tried to identify the worst C-store ships in the game, which was either tedious and boring or exciting, depending on your point of view. So, what's the console that comes with this? This is an older ship at this point. Disruptive topological matrix. Plasma damage, hull regen, point blank AoE, subsystem disable, plasma damage and dot, to foes within 5 kilometers. 300 plasma damage, 100% shield penetration. Disable a random subsystem for 4 seconds. Inflicts viral disruption for 15 seconds, which gives 900 plasma damage over the duration. 900 over the duration, wow. I'm sure it'll be higher in space and if you had buffs and stuff. Each second, while the target's below 30% health, 30% chance, disable all subsystems for 4 seconds. Well, looks like I will need to watch the start of the VOD then. Yeah, I recommend it. I recommend watching all my videos 7 or 8 times. Watch the ads all the way through. Click on them maybe, you know. I'm just kidding, of course. Yeah, you might want to, if you do go back and watch the VOD, I do a little bit of waffling at the beginning, and then I answer questions that were submitted. So the C-Store stuff doesn't start for a little ways into the video, so you might have to fast forward if that's the bit you care about. All right, let's see if we can put, it does, the 5.3 isn't necessarily the best for torpedo stuff. It's fine though. Let's just go with everyone's favorite torpedoes. Enhanced biomolecular. Get a Delphic in there. Gonna get a neutronic and a dark matter. And we're gonna go with the Delphic. Go with the Delphic 2-piece. What is this? For the aft, we're gonna want some mines. I need a better selection of mines. I have not kept up with the mine stuff. Hey Hoodwinked, how's it going? Glad to see you here in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's just do, I don't know, let's do I have radius on any of these? We'll do a biomolecular radius. We'll do a Thoron. And let's do Black Ops, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really sure it matters that much. I'm just gonna go do Argala probably. Get our typical deck stuff here. Where are you, Tilly? Use the colony mines. Do I have a colony mine? I might not have a colony mine. What are the colony mines called? Competitive one's not bad either. YouTube Premium, yeah, touche. Touche on the YouTube Premium. Ah, shit. What are the colony mines called? Look that up. Drenor colony mines. Elite Fleet Drenor. I think I don't have any. I do have, oh no, it's a torpedo launcher. Why do I have a torpedo launcher? I'm gonna have to go buy one. Do I want to use an upgrade on it? Yeah, sure. We'll leave the console on here that it comes with, just because why not? Let's do some locators. Alright, we're gonna want, let's do the Fekiri. I think that's kind of gone out of fashion again, but why not? What is this? Did I not actually ready the ship? What? Okay, it's the loadout one thing again. We need our Lorca's custom fire control. We want our Kobayashi Maru transponder. Gonna want some kinetic amplifiers, some deuterium. What else do we want to put on here? Let's go for, we want some crit severities. Let's go for bioneural. It's probably sluggish because it's a big old ship, so let's do Tachyo. What else do I put on here? Are those the extra range mines? Yes. If you're not trying to do record-breaking stuff, what you're running is fine. Yeah, I'm definitely not doing anything record-breaking. Should we do here? Should we do... What's the Delphic console that goes with this? Interface quant. Do I have that? I do. What are the bonuses for this free piece? Delphic capacitor overload gives Delphic disruption torpedo high yield 1 in addition to other effects. What's the capacitor overload? Firing cycles apply 1 stack of Delphic capacitor overload. Sure. I don't think it's really going to be that good, but whatever. Sometimes I like running the full Saboteur set, even though that's not very good either. I mean, relatively speaking. We're going to want ferrofluid. We're going to want ordnance accelerator, maybe. Oh, with the 3 mines, maybe not. I mean, DPRM is just so overplayed, I think. It's a good console, but like I hate putting it on every ship. Yeah, we'll do it anyway. Okay. Alright, that looks good. Let's pick some traits. Oh, let's go into space before we start doing that. See if it saved the loadout. I probably should have saved it before I beamed up. Find out in a second. Could put that ultimate set on the back with the console to boost your torp haste and only use 1 mine. Yeah, that's a good idea too. Good lord, this is ugly with that shield. My god. Oh no. Turn it off. Turn it off. Get it out of here. Get it out of here. We want to try some vanity shields here. Alliance vanity shield. Ooh, that's ugly. A Borg vanity shield. Seems fitting. The Ba'ul one. Was that the Ba'ul one? Here's the Ba'ul one. That's nice looking. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like that. Yeah, that looks good. Leave that on there. A bit off topic, but what is the best C-Store beam boat with a hangar bay for DPS and general playability? I think you would probably be the most happy with the Lexington, if that's your criteria. Is this not how you, am I spelling Lexington wrong? What am I... Yeah, I think the Lexington for what you want is probably the best. It has Miracle Worker and Intel seating, and it has a hangar bay, and it looks like an Odyssey. You can remove the pod on the top, this sort of pod thing on the top. You can remove that in the ship tailor if you just want it to look more like a regular Odyssey. So yeah, I think for anyone just looking for a powerful, casual beam boat, this is probably one of the best options right here. All right, let's get our console situation figured out. Batteries, transponder, I'm probably going to do in the menu anyway. Plasma disintegrator, shield capacitor. Okay, let's get some traits figured out here. I don't know why that's randomly on here, but nothing else. This is down here for some reason, even though it shouldn't be, because it still has that bug because I have the UI scaling. Yeah, and a lance too. Yeah, it also has a phaser lance. Yeah, the Lexington's a very good ship. We're gonna go. Oh, you know what I forgot to put on the ship? I forgot the phase space membrane. What am I doing? What do I cut for that? I guess we don't need this Delphic console. Let's put some aux batteries on here. Okay, I don't know what I was thinking there. Forgot to put phase space membrane on. Okay, boo 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 boo. Adaptive offense. Playing by ourselves, so we don't need fleet coordinator. Do Grace under fire just in case. Inspirational leader, intelligent agent attaché, kinetic precision. Resonating payload modification. Superior projectile training. The Odyssey is equal to obese sovereign. Wow. I mean, you're not completely wrong, but wow. We need Boimler. Are we doing Uncon? I don't think so, right? This is... I mean, I guess we have DPRM and phase spaced. Maybe we will do it. It's not a lot, but it's enough, I think. Oh, what are we going to run here? We want... rapid emitting armaments. What else do we want here? We want subspatial warheads. We want this is riveting gameplay, I know. I apologize. I'm going so slow here. Checkmate's not bad, but we're not going to run it. Too many traits. ETM. What else do we run here? Need to know basis. I wish this trait was good. And nano infestation. These are both cool traits, but they suck. Yeah, checkmate's not bad. I mean, it's just flat stats, but you know, it's decent. I think I have better stuff, but it's definitely good. I mean, if you have it, it's a good trait, and it's easy to get. I feel like I'm forgetting something really big. Strike from shadows. I do have the extra slot. That's gonna be good for me. I don't have the 1-2 combo with the phaser lance, so I can't do that. We're going to be doing uncon. Synthetic good fortune isn't terrible. Ruin of our enemies is good, but... Vaulting ambition's a new noob trap. It's not actually good, even though it seems like it'd be really good. Oh, ceaseless. Duh. Why am I forgetting ceaseless? I knew I was forgetting something like really basic, and it was ceaseless. Need more riveting play. Time to open up the Admiralty menu. Oh, you asked for it. Here we go. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that to you. You think the Rising Corvette would be worth picking up when the mud sale rolls around later this month? Trying to remember the stats on this. I never played it with it that much because I don't really like pilot ships and I don't really like the way it looks. But let's come to muds here. I did pick it up when it was new. Lieutenant Tactical, Commander Tactical, Lieutenant Commander Engineering, Ensign Science, Lieutenant Commander Universal Pilot. I would say probably not, especially because even when it's on sale, I think unless you get a 75%, does 75% put this under 3K? Let me see. It's what, 17,000? Yeah, even at 75% off, it's still more than a regular C-store ship. Actually, if this was a regular C-store ship, this might have been a candidate for the top 10 worst ships earlier. So I would say no, it's not worth it, unless you like the way it looks, and in that case, yeah, sure, go for it. You know. Now I will say though that this is the ship that came with the Soliton wave impeller. And so the ship is not good, but the Soliton wave impeller is like the best experimental weapon in the game, or at least one of the best ones. So if you don't have one of the other really good experimental weapons, then yeah, it might be worth considering if you want it for that reason alone. Yeah, Ramson, yeah, I had forgotten about that, yeah. Thank you for the great stream. Looking forward to your next video. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, if you saw the stream, the next video might be a bit redundant because it's going to be that top 10 worst, and you kind of sat through my research on it. So hopefully that will still be entertaining. It won't be an hour and a half long though. So yeah, I was forgetting for a minute about the experimental weapon. Yeah, the Soliton wave impeller, 100% is good. It's one of those things where it's like I did the event when it was new, and then it's like, you know, I don't think people, or at least I don't think it was widely known at the time that the Soliton wave impeller was so good. So I think at some point in the future it's like, oh, it's really good, and then I knew that I had it, but I kind of forgot that that's where it came from. So when I think about the ship, I just think about it being a bad ship. I keep forgetting that's the ship it comes on. If you have the Terran Adamant, you are fine on experimental, I think. Yeah, if you have another one of the really good ones, even though the Soliton is the best, I think, like there are other ones that are really good too. So like I don't know that I would pay $42 for the Soliton if you have one of the other good experimental weapons. But like it's way better than the bug zapper. So if you're just using the bug zapper, yeah, it would be a massive improvement, assuming you wanted to spend that kind of money. Sheller's good, the railgun's good. There's lots of good ones. I'm not an expert on experimental weapons, but all right, what we got here? We got crit chance, crit severity, crit chance. Don't need particle generator amplifier. Why do I have that on? Auxiliary. I must have been doing an APG build at some point. Let's do Omega Kinetic Shearing and Torpedo Pre-Fire Sequence. And then we'll come to stations, and we're going to have to set this up. And we want call emergency artillery, concentrate firepower. We got a lot of tactical seating, it looks like, but we can fit in beta, or no, let's do chemo. And I guess if we have, well, if we have ETM, we're going to need CSV and FAW on the other seat. Is this a Miracle Worker seat? We do have Miracle Worker. Do I try and mix in some mixed armament synergy? No, because that's not going to be enough, I don't think. Let's do, like, maybe it's worth it, but I'm not going to try. Do we put a regular high yield on here? And then do CSV and FAW? I don't think this is optimal. We don't have any mind patterns. This doesn't need to be a tactical seat. Yeah, no problem, Hutch. I see there's a lot more channel members in here right now. I did answer the few questions I had at the beginning of the stream, but if anyone has one now, feel free to ask it. Let's do tractor beam. It's obviously. We'll do scramble sensors, gravity well, I guess. I don't know if we have enough control expertise for that, but this is fixed engineering, huh? That's not good. We'll do eject warp plasma. May as well do ox to sieve so we don't die. Emergency to engines. We'll change this to, I don't know. Put Marshall Janeway on here and change this tractor beam out for jam targeting sensors. There we go. All right, we'll call that good enough. I'm sure that is not the optimal configuration, but it's fine. It's fine. These batteries up here. Ox to sieve. Phase space membrane. Shield generator. Brace for impact. Call emergency. CSV. Concentrate firepower. Eject warp plasma. Emergency to engines. It should be over here. So here. Basic maneuvers. I just love setting up my bars, you know. It's like the most fun part of the game is just doing this. Like, I hate that part where you're in your spaceship and you're actually fighting people. Ugh, yuck. The menu simulator is where it's at, guys. Apparently I have Intel on. Jam targeting sensors. Chemo. Miraculous repairs. Nadion inversion. Which is, I'm actually going to put that with the aux battery for phase space membrane. Plasma disintegrator sounds like a good time. Relocate mines is something we're going to want. Rotate shield frequency, scramble sensors. We're relying on Boimler for cooldown. Got a high yield in there. Tractor beam for rapid emitting. All right, that's good enough. We're going to call that good enough. That wasn't on auto. Need to check our DOFs. Projectile, cooldown. Torpedoes, evasive maneuvers. Flight deck officer. I don't know why these are on here, but I can't be bothered to change them. These are going to be good enough. Let's put this on elite so I can die. Alright, let's take a look. What's our hull look like? 113k, that's not too bad. Alright, don't need weapon power. Alright, we'll call that good there. Alright, let's go check one more time for questions and comments. Then I'm going to go do an Argala. Then I'll check for questions and comments one more time, and then I'm probably going to end it there. So, Delta, let's go do Argala. Oh, thankfully, I mean, it's nice that they're giving us a chance to do the Pavo TFOs, you know? Finally, for once. I saw someone was like, you know, stop giving us Pavo. I'm sick of doing Pavo. It's a pretty cool looking ship, to be honest. Too bad you have to gamble for it normally. The only bad thing about eject warp plasma is that it makes it look like your ship is passing gas. Alright, go. No tractor beam there. I guess it was still on cooldown. I thought it would have been back up again. Yeah, it's a nice looking ship. Very cool looking. I like this Baul vanity shield on it. It's nice. Gravity well doesn't really work on these guys because they have emergency powered engines, but we'll do it anyway. Sort of do a whole gravity well into relocate mines into call emergency artillery. If you time it all correctly, which I'm probably not doing, that's a pretty big wallop you can hit people with. Especially if you're in the briefing period of a TFO, and you can jack out a bunch of mines before it starts. That's a very potent hit right there at the beginning. And then you put rapid emitting and subspatial on top of that. Just really obliterate that first group of enemies. Oh, I died. Was that, was I too close to the warp core explosion? Oh no, I killed myself. Okay, that's cool. Your heavy plasma torpedo. Okay, I killed myself with rapid emitting. That's fine. The enemy can't kill me. Only I can kill me. The enemy can't kill me. I killed myself with rapid emitting because I was too busy talking and not paying attention to what I was doing. I was like, man, we were doing pretty fine. I thought maybe I got hit in a warp core explosion, but we have the quantum torpedo, the dark matter one, so that didn't seem like it would be an issue, but so I was a little confused, but no, it's the classic kill yourself with rapid emitting armaments maneuver. I do this thing where it's like I would have killed him faster if I just used concentrate firepower, but I don't do it. Like you ever play an RPG and it gives you like one-time use potions and stuff, and you think, oh, I'm going to save these for later, and then you just never use them and you beat the game and you just still have them in your inventory. When it comes to those manual clickies, I never click them as often as I should. Oh, I'm going to kill myself again. Let's not get too close there. There we go. There goes the rapid emitting. I think it's pretty great that the rapid emitting torpedoes also give you the subspatial warheads. That's like such a satisfying combination of traits. Alright, go ahead and get these guys here. I mean, I'm not going that fast. I could definitely be going faster, but we're chewing through them pretty good here considering it's on elite. And we have 2 useless flight deck officers. I know I have better duty officers than that, but I can't be bothered right now to switch them out. Alright, we're going to do phase space membrane and try and just delete this guy. Alright, here we go. Hit all the buttons. Yeah, and we deleted him. Pretty good there. Now it's the lackeys we gotta kill. He went down pretty quick. Alright, let's get out of here. I think I've killed him faster, but he went down pretty quick. And we achieved level 5, so we unlocked the, since we did it on Elite, we were able to knock out the Mastery package in one go. And now we have access to the trait as well. I'm going to have to remind myself what the trait is. And it appears to be enhanced nanite regeneration. When using a captain or bridge officer, heal on yourself enables regenerative nanites for 15 seconds. Grant 25 to 125% of the maximum hull regenerated per minute. I mean, it's a cool regen trait, but yeah. Alright, so I'm going to just hang out here for a few more minutes to see if anyone else has any more questions or comments they want me to address. And finish my drink here, and then probably going to turn it off. So just a preemptive thank you to Friendly Travel Agent for joining the channel. Appreciate that a lot. So if you're still here, thank you again. Thank you to all my channel members who joined me tonight, and also thank you to all the channel members who are watching this in the future. Also, thank you to anyone who's just here spectating. And if you want to ask a question on the next one, but you're not a channel member, I always put a couple of posts on the community tab in the week leading up to these. So you can submit, anyone is allowed to submit questions to those, and those get addressed at the beginning of the stream. So, you know, anyone can submit questions to these streams in advance. The next stream is probably going to be me playing more of the Game Boy game, because I think there's enough demand for me to try and get Captain. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the old Game Boy Star Trek game, and I'd made it up to Lieutenant Commander, but I didn't quite make it to Commander, so I think I'm going to go back and do one more stream of that to try and get Captain, because it was pretty difficult, and I kind of ran out of time last time. Also, the documentary I've been working on is still in the works. The next actual proper video on the channel should be the top 10 worst sea store ships that we kind of went through on tonight's stream. And yeah, but if you have more suggestions or comments for videos or streams, feel free to let me know either now or you should be able to leave a comment on the video on demand after the stream ends, and it's just posted as a regular video. So, all right, I'm not seeing any more questions here showing up on the chat on my end. So I'm going to wait just a little bit longer to make sure anyone who wants to say anything has a chance to, and then we're probably going to say goodnight. Need more wife heckling? Don't encourage her. This is don't. She doesn't need any encouraging.
Show your shirt.
So today's Father's Day, and she got me a little bit of a gag gift. Maybe that's not fair to call it a gag gift, but she got me a funny shirt. So a lot of you guys probably know that I'm a dad. I have a son. He's 9 years old. But we also got a cat this year named Ginger. So she got me this shirt. It's a custom shirt that says "Best Cat Dad Ever," and then it has me fist bumping our cat. And this is more or less what our cat looks like. She's a tabby, an orange tabby. And then it says "Just Ask Ginger," and so she got the name custom added in there. So.
And no less than 2 women.
Yes, two people commented on it and gave me compliments on it. So she doesn't need any encouragement for extra heckles. Okay, but she heard, so she knows that the audience demands more heckling. All right, yes, Kuye says thanks and take care. Same to everyone. Thanks again for joining me. I'll see you guys later. Take care of yourselves as always. Bye for now.